In New York City, 1 in 4 children under the age of 3 live in poverty, and it's been that way for the last 50 years. Even worse, 64% of those babies are Black or Hispanic, and these are statistics that are higher than truly any other developed economy in the world. We know that the earliest days of a child's life are really a crucial period of emotional and mental development. I mean, the average baby's brain doubles in size in its first year, and it's 80% of adult size by age 3. The question for us is really, why are we not, as a society, putting more resources where the highest return exists? In the world of poverty, that clearly means babies. We launched the Bridge Project to scale the idea of a guaranteed income as a solution for child poverty. We'll be providing half of our mothers with $500 a month and the other half with $1,000 a month. And we'll be doing that consistently for 3 years. No conditions, no questions asked.
Poverty by definition is lack of cash. And even though we've been talking about the idea of guaranteed income or basic income since the birth of our democracy, first with Thomas Paine and also as the subject of Dr. King's last book, we haven't implemented it at scale or in a modern way. Family needs are dynamic, and so is cash.
Despite how motivated they may be, families face economic setbacks, job loss, medical challenges, all the things we've just seen happen with COVID.
$500 to $1,000 extra a month. You don't have to worry about buying that extra box of diapers. You don't have to worry about paying your phone bill, your heating and cooling bill.
There's this false narrative that people who live in poverty just make poor choices when it comes to their finances. And I beg to differ. Folks who are living in poverty are actually financial geniuses. With the little bit that they have, they find ways to survive. We really need to make sure that we trust our community members, that we provide direct cash assistance without limitations. I know wholeheartedly that they will make the right choices because for them, it's really about making sure that they provide for their families.
The basic premise of anybody questioning what unconditional, consistent financial support would do to help young parents is mind-boggling to me. That is an expectation that communities of privilege have. It is a luxury that communities of privilege have, and that should be a right for everybody in this country. There's something that feels very un-American about having a double set of expectations.
We don't ask the rich, what'd you do with your windfall? What did you do with your bonus at the end of the year? We only attach these pejorative assumptions and these questions around deservedness or rationality to people who are struggling to make ends meet. And these are really tied to social constructions about women of color primarily, and saying that they don't know what their family's needs are, nor do they know how to leverage cash.
Having a really focused intervention on Black and brown moms specifically is going to make an impact. If we can implement something that we've already seen works for our communities, how amazing would that be?
The first 1,000 days of a child's life, it's a time of enormous opportunity as well as enormous vulnerability. The brain is the most rapidly developing. The highest degree of neuroplasticity in the brain is taking place.
What we see then is that even by the age of 3 or 4, vast differences in cognitive development. We also have parents who live under enormous stress. And children experience the stress of their parents deeply and early, especially. We really need much greater, bolder investments, a true safety net for families with children.
Pregnancy is really an opportunity to have an intervention that can make positive impacts for the baby and really the entire community. We're doing this alongside Black and brown mamas to develop the program and also to conduct the research. That is a practice that really develops trust. If we created it for us, by us, we know it's going to work.
There's really 3 unique things about the Bridge Project. First is geography. It's no secret that New York City is a really expensive place to live. And because the Bridge Project is very specifically focused on New York City, it really gives us a chance to understand how far can cash go in a context like New York. Number 2 is the duration. It's a longer experiment. It's 3 years in length. It allows people more time to have long-range goals for themselves and for their children that they probably aren't able to do in just a single year-long pilot. Third would be the amount of money. Half of the treatment group is receiving $500 a month. The other half is receiving $1,000 a month. How much money does it actually take to create the types of changes that we want to see in health and well-being is really an open question.
We're really focusing on the neighborhoods of Washington Heights, Inwood, and Central Harlem. So it was really important for us to do recruitment through the community and particularly through community-based organizations, including Harlem Children's Zone, Children's Aid, Northern Manhattan Improvement Corporation, and El Nido de Esperanza.
Northern Manhattan is a place that is vibrant, lively, and a place where, although we face many challenges like housing inequities, unemployment, health-related issues, it is also a community that is resilient and strong.
Washington Heights is a large immigrant community. 100% of the families that come to Nido identify as Latino. The majority of our families are also living in mixed status households, which means at least one member is undocumented. Our families are incredibly motivated, incredibly hardworking, but that is sometimes not enough because they're facing racial, gender inequalities that can prevent them from financially succeeding.
Central Harlem is a very unique neighborhood. There's a long history of contributions to culture, but at the same time, there has been significant underinvestment and particularly has led to disproportionate impact in communities of color.
We're really trying to transform cities like New York City into cities where all children can have a healthy start in life. But we have to first recognize that there is a differential impact of structural racism on Black and brown communities. I'm super excited to see that happen, not just in NYC, but really all across the country and all over the world as well.
So when we think about all these pilots that we're running through the Center for Guaranteed Income research that the Bridge Project is a part of, if we want to scale up and scale out to an entire borough or a much larger population, we need to figure out exactly how to structure the program. We're asking research questions around finances, children's well-being, access to healthcare, anxiety, depression, and we're also asking really key questions around program design, implementation, infrastructure, so that if and when we are able to scale it up, we'll know exactly how to do so in a way that's efficient and is seamless.
We're excited about expanding the Bridge Project to additional neighborhoods, to a higher number of moms, additional boroughs. We really do want to eliminate child poverty in New York City, but this is a conversation that's happening in cities across the nation. At the end of the day, it's understanding how this can actually be implemented for everyone.
These aren't luxuries. This is just basic direct cash assistance that has been shown to really buffer both parental stress and help families meet basic developmental needs and even support investments in children's development. It can really be a life changer for families, especially in the early years when resources are the tightest and the needs are the greatest and the implications are most consequential.
We see this as an opportunity for our community members to thrive economically. Having financial support, financial independence is key to moving from survival mode to thriving.
That's one of the revolutionary things about the Bridge program that allows the family to make their own decisions. It's giving self-efficacy back to the families, trusting them. We all make decisions that are best for our families, and it's a sign of respect, love, and grace that we lack in so many of the services that are out there.
If you can reduce the rates of child poverty, you remove barriers that allows them to be able to be on a pathway and breaking the vicious cycle of the loop of poverty. The Bridge Project is seeding the beginnings of breaking that pathway. This can serve as a shining example for economic mobility for underserved communities across this nation.